打ちつかれたこの鼓動は無力で儚いもの痛みは空よりもうららかに空があった風も熱も夢も明日も空気中にさまよった理想怒り視線切な渦を巻くような暗く深い場所じりじり音を立ててからめ取られ数えきれぬほどの瞳が全部笑ったら後ろの正面その目は誰あいあいえまるで闇に描かれた叶わない夢模様髪を振り乱すような気配がざわめくやがてそこに訪れた両手に余る悲しみ叫びは高らかに慈しむほど痛みは空よりもうららかに水槽のディスペア
All right. So, I know today's kind of sudden. I wasn't really expecting to stream today, but my hangout with friends kind of ended early. And because that's the case, most people probably don't know that I'm streaming tonight. That said, if you could help me out by retweeting that link, I'd really appreciate it. The goal for tonight is to finish Higurashi Chapter 2. And honestly, after I finish it, I'm not sure if I'm going to continue streaming or whatever, but you know, if you're down to be a little bit patient, maybe we can start Chapter 3. But it would be a little bit of a while until we come back to Chapter 3. At least I think so. Let me do a very quick check here. So, I still get Tuesday and Wednesday, at least. Because Final Fantasy VII, the remake, is coming out on the 10th, I believe. So I could cover Chapter 3 in 2 days, but that seems a little excessive. Or we can make tonight very real. Finish Chapter 2, start Chapter 3, go into Chapter 3 on Tuesday and Wednesday as well, and try to finish it then. It would be rough, but it's possible. All right, let's we'll figure out how that goes. I'm kind of curious myself, actually. Sounds like a lot, I know. These chapters, they take like what, 18-ish hours for me? Okay, so as a brief reminder, the major twist that just happened was that we found out, what was it? Was it the day after or the day? I think it was the day after Watanagashi, the festival. Shion was already dead, so for her to call us is mighty suspicious. Well, not just call us. She's let me see. What else is really awkward about that? Her killing the mayor if she were already dead would be mad suspicious. Yes.
都合よく考えすぎるなよ、前原圭一。
So we have we have zombies and Higurashi, guys. Or evil spirits, my favorite. And wait, where are we? Is Shion actually on the phone right now? No way.
でも逃げるな、圭一。
Okay. Theories of Shmion maybe coming back to haunt us again. I'm actually kind of curious how many advocates there are of Shmion theory. That's just saying that name just kills me. Right. I mean, if that's if you believe the information sent to you. Well, being the one to face your fears when you're the last one, I don't think that's gonna work out. I mean, technically Rena's still alive, but... Oh, there it is. Ooh. Kyobi's here. Someone's extra excited for Higurashi tonight. Oh, that bad? I'm sorry. I do have a quick question, though. Because I'm willing to stream longer than 2 hours, obviously, would you guys be interested if I continued into Chapter 3 if we finish Chapter 2? If that's the case, if you want me to continue, press 1. If no, press 2. Because if the answer is yes, I gotta do something really fast. It won't take that much long, though. I could still do Higurashi Chapter 3 on Tuesday and Wednesday. We just gotta be kind of serious about it. Yeah, 1's for continue and 2 is for no. Now this phone has been going on for a while. No one's that incessant. Unless she's a ghost, in which case they have nothing to lose. Just keep calling. What you miss? We pretty much just started, actually. Someone's calling the phone. The implication is Shion from the afterlife. Also, Keiichi summons the courage to finally pick up the phone, which he will right now.
もしもし。
There we go. But the problem is that there was a line that said, "Now is the time for courage," or something similar to that. But I mean, we've lost quite a few of the cast, haven't we?
あ、ケイちゃんですか？
Oh boy.
私です。
Okay, so I'm gonna hit auto.
シオンです。
While it's happening, I'm going to set up Higurashi Chapter 3. The button's around here somewhere.
電話、なかなか出なかったんで、お留守かと思って切ろうとしてたんですよ。
ああ、ごめん。ちょっとお風呂に入っててさ。
Okay, first, isn't this awfully casual? Does Shion not know that she's supposed to be dead or something? And Keiichi, what is it? Hang on, how did that conversation even start? Hello? Oh, it's me. It's Shion. Okay, wait, but Shion, you didn't you die the day after the festival? And then Shion would be like, "Nah, I've been hiding out. You know, social isolation and all. So, nothing."
それでも、ご家族の方が電話を取りませんか？
Yeah.
ひょっとして、ケイちゃんの家、今ご両親はお留守なんですか？
Don't answer that question. Like, scary shit only happens if you've noticed, Kei-chan, that your parents are gone, scary shit happens. Just say your parents are home and they're watching Netflix. In the 1980s. they started the company Netflix, okay? There we go. You're safe, I promise you. Your parents are always home watching Netflix.
いや、別に留守ってわけじゃ。そんなことより。聞いたか？リカちゃんとサトコの件。
いえ、結局、あの後どうなったんですか？見つかったんですか？
Did your family not pick up for you? I let her in on a vital piece of information that was currently the only one in my house. She deduced that your folks are not home. Okay, great.
ああ、見つからなかった。
ケイちゃん、どうか気を落とさないで。
Well, I'm losing hope already. You don't even know. If you said, what are the chances of Keiichi living right now? Fucking really. Oh, Kiyomi, please.
リカちゃんとサトコはさらわれたんだよな。
はい。それは間違いないでしょうね。
Okay, auto again. And while that's happening, I still need to figure out, so where is this thing?
リカちゃんとサトコは。いや、ごめん。村長さんはさらわれてどうなったと思う？まだ生きてるんだろうか？
殺されちゃったんだと思います。
おいおい、そんなにあっさり。
人間をさらって その状態を維持するのってとても大変なことだと思います。人質にするんでもない限り、ヨンが済んだら殺しちゃうのが一番合理的じゃないかと。
How did she... Hang on. How did you make that jump? Did you just... Hang on. Don't lose hope. I mean, we don't know 100% that they were kidnapped, but we do know that there is likely to be a culprit. Okay. I don't think there's much doubt. Just how cruel and great. Okay. Also, shouldn't you be a little bit suspicious? I mean, I know he's kind of scared that Shion might be a ghost from hell or some shit, but damn. Okay. What if she had given that question a terrifying response in such a way that sounded like it had nothing to do with her? Okay. So he's at least being doubtful, thank God. I think he was killed. That was quick, yeah, okay. Got it. Okay. I want you to give me just a quick second here. I still got to figure out where to put this. Wait, did I not? I don't think I installed this game yet. So that's the reason why I couldn't find the path. Sorry, give me a second. I go to library. And where's Higurashi? Nope, Higurashi chapter 3 is installed. Okay, what's the file path? Properties. Browse game local files. There we go. So this would be the install path. I'll copy this. And I post this here. And you're good. Okay. And yep, there we go. All right. All right. Sorry for that, guys. Took a little bit, but now we're 100% good to go. Okay.
殺しちゃうってそんなにあっさり
What the?
人の命を何だと思ってやがるんだ。
恐ろしいことだとは思いますが、多分そうではないかと。
Honestly, I didn't expect this music.
リカちゃまとサトコちゃんも同じだと思った方がいいでしょうね。
But I mean, maybe Shion is a JRPG boss. But anyway, her reaction to their deaths is different than the first time, right? So instead of like actually crying, she just states the cold truth. Wait, what? Okay, this is your scream? Alright, and this is your final scream. Okay, wow. A good scream's tough though, you know? Sometimes you get the good ones, sometimes you get the bad ones. You really squeezed out that last few, though.
ケイちゃん、どうか気を確かに。
Okay, and then the switch happens where... Oh, okay. I wonder if that's how Keiichi felt to Shion the first time she cried. I don't know.
Shio, 教えてくれ。どうしてこのひなみ沢では綿流しの夜に人が死ななければならないことになってしまったんだ。
それは私が知りたいです。
もうダム計画との戦いは終わったんだぞ。なのにどうしてまだたたり足りないんだ。どうしてだよ。理由があるなら言ってみろよ。
I mean, if you call that incoherent, that's such a strong point in my opinion, though. If the early deaths were like motivated behind a reason, the recent deaths don't feel that way, right?
Keiちゃんの気持ち、私もよくわかります。ダム闘争はとっくの昔に終わったんです。なのに毎年お社様のたたりという名の殺人と失踪が繰り返されている。なぜ？どうしてなんですか？全然関係ない人もいた。たたられるのに不相応な人だっていたのに、どうして？どうして？
それを俺が聞いてるんだ。
Wow!
それを私だって知りたいんですよ。
I'm sorry, there's just something about like Keiichi's screaming voice that
いいですか。お社様のたたりなんて非現実的なものは初めから存在しません。ケイちゃんの言う通り、村の何者かがお社様のたたりというもっともらしい大義名分を利用して綿流しのたびに殺しと失踪を繰り返しているんです。奴らは狡猾でした。たたりを都合よく利用して村の旧敵を毎年2人ずつ消し去るシステムを構築していったんです。そしてこのシステムで今年は高野さんたちが殺された。
じゃあ2人で十分じゃねえかよ。どうして村長やリカちゃんやサトコまで殺されなくちゃならないんだよ。それに俺は過去のことは今さらどうでもいいんだ。リカちゃんとサトコがなぜ殺されなくちゃならなかったのか。どうしてなんだ。サトコには打ち上げですらないんだぞ。どうしてサトコまで。どうしてなんだ。
Okay, thank you. Oh man, that JRPG music was getting a little bit run down, I guess.
ケイちゃん、もういじめないでください。
It really did feel out of place, right? It makes me wonder if that was like the original visual novels music, and like in the PS3 version they had no sound for the scene. I don't know.
私だって何が何だかわからないんです。最後殿に忍び込んだあの晩から全てが変わってしまった。あの晩、高野さんたちが死んだと聞き、耳を疑いました。そしてすぐに気づいたんです。
Yo, Monkey Scythe, thanks for the sub, man.
今度は自分が狙われる立場になったんだって。忍び込んだのは私たち4人。私とケイちゃんだけが都合よく許してもらえるわけがない。
I mean, you know, if you guys want, I could install Chapter 3 with the new OST remake. I'll have to reinstall the thing that I just did, though. I'm not sure if it's an easy fix.
そう思ったとき、それがどれだけ心細くて恐ろしいことだったか、ケイちゃんにはわかりますよね。だから私、君吉のおじいちゃんに打ち明けたんです。
Hang on. I want to see how she sets this up. Also, like, from Keiichi's perspective, I'm actually struggling a lot to understand how would you react to someone on the other side of the phone that could possibly be a ghost. And honestly, just that stage, I don't know how I would react. The other part is like, if I were really scared, then why pick up the phone? And the next layer is like, say, no, actually, that's it. If you're really scared, why would you pick up the phone, right? He's definitely like completely lost it in this conversation. Yeah, she's either a ghost or an imposter. So let's say she's an imposter then, right? That's the logic that goes into his head during the scene. He's still freaking out like crazy, right? If you're assuming that Shion's an imposter, you're not getting any information whatsoever. So he's, I guess, in this scene, out of his mind, and he assumes Shion's an imposter. Because if he were out of his mind, plus scared, right? And he assumed Shion was a ghost, he wouldn't pick up the phone. I think it would be logical. So that's the problem with me trying to understand this scene. I'm struggling on just that right now. But if we assume one line of logic, then I guess this kind of makes sense to me. Yeah, but it's still contradictory to how he's handling it. But I guess he's too young to realize that, right? He's out of it. So he wants to find some pathway forward, but he can't like reason with himself anymore.
私はみんなが入ってはいけないという最後殿に面白半分な気持ちで踏み入ってしまいました。いけないことだとは分かっていましたが、本当に面白半分な気持ち、ちょっとした探検気分のつもりだったんです。一緒に入った高野さんたちはその後すぐに殺されてしまいました。それもあんなむごい最後。あの日からいつ私も襲われるのではないかと怯えています。
Okay, so I really want to hear her out here.
君吉のおじいちゃんしか助けてくれる人がいません。だからおじいちゃん、助けてって。
Because it's not like they found her body or anything, right? It's just that she's gone missing, I think is what Oishi said. So she could have just hid for a very long time. You know, what have you been doing lately, Shion? But the problem is the contradiction of of having met Kimiyoshi at a specific time, he has to ask that question, even though it's kind of scary.
君吉のおじいちゃん怒らなかった。そしてにっこり笑ってしおんちゃんがちゃんと反省してるなら鬼隠しになんかなるものかって。
Okay.
本当に笑いながら任せなさいって。
Okay, so he realizes now. All right, okay, I get it. All right, here we go.
「いつ村長に打ち明けたんだよ」。ごめんなシオン、悲しい気持ちのところに追い打ちをかけるようで。
Okay. I want to know this.
シオンは打ち明けたんだよな、君吉のおじいちゃん、つまり村長に。
はい。
いつ打ち明けたんだよ。村長さんは重い痔を患ってて病院にかかっていたという話は知ってるか？
ケイちゃん、それが何か？
答えてくれ。知らないなら知らないと答えればいい。
痔だったのは知ってます。座る時とか辛そうでしたから。
病院に通ってたんだ。どこの病院かは知ってるよな？
ごめんなさい、それはちょっと知りませんけど。でもケイちゃん、それが一体何の。
Okay, which stops off that possibility. So then... Right. So it's not going to be at the hospital, it's not going to be on the train, it's not going to be before the meeting because he had no time. He had to be at the meeting, which would mean that would have to be...
単刀直入に聞きたいんだ。シオンはいつ村長に打ち明けたんだ？どこで？いつ？大雑把でいいから教えてほしいんだ。
ケイちゃん、なんでそんなことを。
To be fair, he should have been asking these questions from the beginning, right? But he let fear get to him. Maybe not here. I'm saying earlier. and the fact that he's carrying us through this conversation makes us now notice that he's thinking about it, right? Because throughout this entire chapter, you're the one who has to piece together everything. Keiichi's not helping you with that. He's actually kind of being a barrier to that.
ありえないんだよ。村長が失踪した日、朝から消えるまでシオンには接触できる機会はありえないんだ。
そんな。
村長は朝一で誰にも内緒の大学病院へ一人で診察に出かけた。シオンは今この病院を知らないと言った。 だから帰ってくるまで村長と接触することはできないはずだ。そうだろう。帰りの電車が事故で遅れたので、自宅に帰ってきたのは会合の始まる直前だった。つまり会合が始まるまでの時間にも打ち明ける時間的余裕はないんだ。シオンも一緒に会合に出たのか？
There we go.
そして会合の席上で打ち明けたのか？ここで打ち明けなきゃもう時間がないもんな。村長は帰宅途中で失踪するんだから。
実は会合にで
Okay, I gotta hear this. How do you explain this?
あの日シオンが行くと言ったバイトすら君は欠勤してるんだ。もっと端的に言おう。君は俺と一緒に行った図書館以降誰にも目撃されていない。
ケイちゃん、
園崎シオンは綿流しの翌日に失踪したんだ。大石さんは君がすでに失踪していると言っているんだ。
Okay, I'm enjoying this. Like, I wish Higurashi had more music because we went through 3 tracks and it feels appropriate except for the JRPG one.
でもシオンはこうして毎晩俺に電話をかけてきてくれただろ。頼むシオン、俺が言ったことが間違ってるならそうだと言ってくれ。シオン頼むから。シオン、お前は村長に会ってなんかないんだ。もし会ったとしたなら村長が会合を終えた後。
Right. This is where it gets fun. The only time you could have met the mayor was at this specific point after he disappeared.
すなわち
Wait, no. Before he disappeared. There we go.
失踪する直前、もしくは失踪してからしかありえないんだ。
Oh shit! Oh, that looks very pretty. I have never had anyone laugh that crazily and then hang up on me. Shit, man, that seems kind of fun. That's the only CG in the original visual novel. I mean, I feel like for that scene, you really needed a CG. So I agree with that decision. If you had to put a CG anywhere. Okay, quick question. Very quick. 1 for new music, 2 for no new music. The new music is a remix track for Chapter 3. So yes or no? Well, you're saying no? I'm actually quite surprised. Wow, okay. Let's see. I'm going to leave this alone, and I'm going to choose this. Oh, thanks for the follow, man. Oh, this is actually kind of a big deal. The 3 families detested giving birth to twins as successors. So reading this gives us more insight. Okay. A long-term dictatorship built on the precarious balance of the 3 families must have feared collapsing under the weight of internal strife from things like family quarrels. Because you have 2 twins, people can get on different sides of the twins. Okay. If twins were born, they had to be cold. Wait, really? Okay. The leader of the Sonozaki family is said to inherit a demon, and they tattoo a magnificent one onto his or her back. So there should be a tattoo on Mion, is what you're saying. Okay. Or it could be more literal. Okay. How rude would that be? I'll be like, hey, Mion, I know we only have known each other for maybe a month or 2, but could I see your bare naked back? Okay. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So, like, whoever has written these notes also agrees with you, frogs, right? Because when I talk to Shion and Mion, they're swell individuals, both of them, but Shion has a way with her words. Screw it. Let's go ahead and throw this one in.
あんりゃ、クラちゃん。あんたが一番遅いよ。若い人はみんな揃ってる。
I've never played Mahjong before, so just to ask this one simple question. Mahjong is the equivalent of poker? Is that about right?
じゃあお母さん、すみませんね。
Like I said, I've never played Mahjong before. It just looks like there's like 4 players to a table, and that's all I really got. And they're trying to use some type of community pile or something.
おいさん、お疲れ様っす。
なんだ、みんな真面目に待ってたんですか？さんまでもやってりゃよかったのに。皆さん、連日の不眠不休の捜査、本当にお疲れ様です。
うっす。
状況は芳しくありません。所長が園崎系議員の恫喝に屈したそうです。
Okay, so we know that in this chapter, the police cannot investigate the shed with all the tools because pressure.
近日中に高野殺しはお隣の県警さんに譲り、村長たちの失踪は行方不明扱いで生活課に委ねるようです。
Okay, so that means the police are unreliable. Unfortunately, it means that when death happens, they can be pushed aside because of political pressure, and that you're never gonna rely on the police to find out who's the killer, if there is a human killer. Or one of the police or policemen like rebel against that pressure, right?
請求した令状もすべて却下されました。課長からは園崎家界隈には近づくなとまで言われています。いやいや困ったもんです。ちなみに私には来週から警視庁への研修命令が出るそうです。その後は余った有給を伊豆で消化しろとまで言われています。
Wow, okay.
いやそういうのも悪くないですね。 いつもそうですが、事件と車のキーの閉じ込めはよく似ています。開けるための鍵はいつもその中に閉じ込められているんです。車なら修理業者を呼んで扉をこじ開ける。事件なら熊ちゃん、図面を。
I have a question, because I don't understand the context of this. If you have a bunch of portraits up here, and a shrine right here, does that mean that these are police officers that have died? Does anyone know? Or are those ancestors or something? But ancestors in a police office? Okay.
私もずーっとこの商売をやってます。勘には自信があるつもりですがね。今回ばかりは外れるかもしれませんよ。退職金が欲しい方は私が10数える間に席を外してください。
Really?
9、10。皆さん、ご家族はもっと大切にしてくださいよ。
Okay, so carry it away. Go ahead.
各自手元の資料を確認。監視カメラの所在と資格を叩き込んでください。熊ちゃんは指揮者で待機。非常時は私に代わって指揮をお願いしますよ。小宮山君は突入 A 班、敦君は突入 B 班を指揮。監視班は1から8まで所定の位置で監視を。ボンチ君はタイムテーブルを厳守。署に怪しまれないようローテを管理してください。
Wait, this is a mahjong parlor? I thought it was a... Yeah, you're right. This is a mahjong parlor. Why are those portraits up there? What the fuck?
さて、待機中の班が一番大仕事ですよ。課長に私の所在を聞かれたらとぼけてください。
Do police-sponsored mahjong parlors exist? In Japan, are there mahjong parlors in a police building? I don't know. What? I'm already confused. Whatever. Ignore that. They're talking about something kind of important right now.
ゲストのエスコート役は私がやります。きっと会場へ連れて行きますので、皆さん気長に待っててください。
落ちるっすかね、前原圭一は。
私の見たところじゃ、明日明後日には行けそうですよ。もうコロッとね。
Okay. Good. I'm happy that's the case. So that means, despite outside pressure, they're willing to lose their jobs, actually, or lose their after payment for their families, right? In order to pursue this. That's good. Because we need more people able to do that. Otherwise, shit's just gonna keep happening every chapter, and there's no way we're gonna solve it.
圭一、圭一。
放っておいてやれ。友達が行方不明になったんだ。気の毒にな。うちの圭一もしばらくの間学校を控えた方がいいんじゃないのか。警察が何とかするまで外出を控えた方が安全だと思うぞ。
That's pretty reasonable, if you ask me.
そうね。もしもってことに比べたら、学校を何日かお休みにするくらい。
それよりもこんな物騒な事態になったら学校なんか休校にするのが筋じゃないのか。
I mean, I could say something about that, but we're just gonna let it go.
まったく学校の先生方は人の子を何だと思ってるんだ。圭一、学校の勉強はどうなんだ。圭一の方が進んでるくらいじゃないのか。 もしそうならしばらくお休みしてもいいんだぞ。
ここは入ってはいけないところなんだろう。やめようぜ。鍵がかかっているのを勝手に開けて押し入るなんて、たとえ物を盗まなくったって犯罪なんだぞ。
Okay, so he's imagining that night if he could have stopped himself.
シオンだってこれが密会現場じゃないと分かったなら十分だろう。
I think.
俺はこんなのには全然興味はないんだ。こんなところにいる間にリカちゃんの演舞が終わっちゃったらどうするんだよ。
Damn, that is a look that says I will not take any shit from a kid. I mean, you want to elaborate on that, Frogs? I'm not like, no, like I just want to hear your thoughts. Is what I'm saying. I mean, even outside of religion, you can apply it to realistic concepts. Oh, you mean why it was taboo in the first place? And you could be like, hey man, why is it not okay for me to open up this shed? I opened up the shed, I'm sorry, but I want to know the reason why. And the guy could be like, well, the reason why is because of X, Y, and Z. But if you disconnect it from religion and say why it's taboo, there can be another reason why. You can say it's taboo because you're bringing up something that we're really trying hard to look past and move forward. Why are you bringing up dirt that all the villagers already know about, and we're trying to move past it? Hey, we even tried to add you to our community. So what's the deal? Why do you have to bring up something that we feel bad about? Or something like that, right? You can make that argument. So it's not like taboo in the sense of, oh, you broke a holy ritual or some shit like that. It's taboo in the sense that you're doing something that feels kind of like betrayal. You can explain it like that. I can make that argument. It's not that hard. But you're right. You should ask that. Why is it taboo in the first place? Some people say it's not at all. At least I think Rika tried. She said something like, yeah, don't worry about it. You know, the cat goes meow and the dog goes... What does a dog say in Japanese? I'll use bark for now.
レナちゃんじゃない？
Wan. Okay. The dog goes Wan, and everything's hunky-dory, okay? Don't worry about it. Sort of. She I think she legitimately was trying to make Keiichi feel better, but the way she ended that conversation kind of screwed it up. So I want to believe she was really, really trying positively just to say, you know, legitimately, there's no taboo here, right? Don't worry about it. But she's dead now. And that kind of sucks.
いつもの時間だから迎えに来たんじゃない？
Man, I miss Rika already. I miss Rika and Satoko. And I don't know who the mayor looks like or what he... Okay, actually, I do know what the mayor looks like, but I miss him too. And if Shion's dead, I also miss her, man. I miss everyone who's dead. Tomatake, though? Whatever. Takano...
しばらく学校を休んだ方がいいんじゃないのか？
そうだね。気を使ってくれてありがとう。
おはよう。今日から集団登校だから。
Let me just put it this way. There are two ways I have to approach this visual novel. A part of me Oh, I'm acting just like the visual novel. There we go. That's actually pretty cool. A part of me is gonna be speaking like my true feelings, right? And another part of me has to play this role of not knowing anything and saying misleading shit to kind of make sure that I'm not unveiling too much, right? So there are times where I'm breaking down the conversation text on the screen. I'm giving you my true analysis. Don't worry about it. And there are times where I'm just playing with you guys, right? Because I can't say that the true culprit, 100%, guys, is actually Angel Mort. Right? I'm being dead serious when I say that. Okay, that's actually the real culprit. Why won't you listen to me?
遅れちゃダメだよ。
Right? I kind of have to do that because I already know. It's really weird.
俺さ、今日からしばらく休むことにするよ。学校。
うん。圭一くんが自分の体に一番優しい過ごし方を選ぶべきだと思う。だから別に引け目を感じることなんかないと思うな。あ、それからこれ。
Yeah, so I'm learning something really new from commentating Higurashi. I've commentated movies and TV shows before that I already knew the outcome, but there were a lot easier ways of like breaking that stuff down, right? When it comes to mostly a longer medium, it's super hard to figure out what your strategy is.
回覧板。お母様に渡しておいてくれるかな。いろいろ大事なお知らせがあるみたいだから。
Okay, so take your time so you can kind of pick yourself back up. I guess to build back up your confidence is something I actually understand. Okay.
警察も必死に探してくれてる。きっと見つかるから。待ってよ。ね。
レナは俺を問い詰めないんだな。
うん。
レナは知ってるんだろ、俺があの晩
西宮殿に忍び込んだことかな。
筒抜けなんだな。まったく悪いことはするもんじゃないよ。
I mean, if everyone knows, there is some relief to that. You don't have to lie anymore.
みーちゃんはすごく怒ってたよ。でもね、きっとみーちゃんが怒ってたのは忍び込んだことよりもそれを隠していたことだと思うの。圭一くんは自分から言い出して謝らなくちゃいけなかったんじゃないかな。
Okay, so he held that back.
レナの言う通りだな。
Hang on.
俺はいつもレナに教えられるまで何も気づかなくて。
圭一くん。
You know what's funny? How relevant Higurashi still remains to me personally. even today.
もしもだよ。もしも圭一くんが悪いことをしたことをすぐに認めてみーちゃんに謝っていたら、リカちゃんとさとこちゃんはいなくならずに済んだのかな。
ああ、そうだ。
Relevant how? I'm gonna try to figure out how to make it easy to understand within the context of this scene, because this is specifically the thought that I had when she appeared here and, you know, was supporting Keiichi and stuff like that, right? And then this dawning realization that Keiichi has that there's a problem that he let go for quite a while. He realizes it, but a part of him is too afraid to approach it, right? And isn't it a fear about curses or monsters or dying? It's just like a fear of kind of approaching that situation, right? And then that's like the first half of the chapter, right? There's a problem with Keiichi and Mion, and he didn't understand it at first. He slowly comes to realize it a little bit too late, right? It's chapter 2, didn't have any time to talk with Mion. But now that he realizes it, he's still unable to talk with Mion and, you know, solve this problem. And now, compare that issue that existed in the first half and how it kind of haunts him in the second half, and this fear of not telling anyone the truth that he did something wrong, right? Not just that, also not relying on his own friends. And yeah, the story wants to make you paranoid, right? Maybe there actually is a cause and effect when Keiichi says, "Hey Rika, let me tell you about this thing that I did," and then Rika goes off and dies. Maybe there really is a cause and effect, but there is something a little bit awkward by that, right? Why did Satoko die? She didn't hear from Keiichi, right? And I don't think Rika would have told her, but I guess he could do something like that, right? And Kimiyoshi, the mayor, dies after Shion tells the mayor, but there was something really suspicious about that, right? Trying to figure out how to word this. And so in this chapter 2, there's this fear of kind of come to terms with the things that you need to solve, and you know you want to solve it, but you're still too scared to do so, right? That's relevant to me. I understand how that feels. I also understand this kind of isolation that you get from your friends when you feel you're not included, right? Mion felt that. Shion actually does too, because, well, we haven't seen her for quite a while. She could be a freaking ghost for all we know. I think we all kind of right now understand what isolation feels like, right? So there's also that kind of like joking parallel, but it's kind of that strange feeling that I get sometimes when I read visual novels, where like the story itself I admire so much. The lessons that the author is trying to teach you, I acknowledge, and I want to apply to my own real life, but there's something holding me back, right? If a story touches me about its themes about family, and I don't know, cry about it, and I feel that it has a lot of truth to what is being told, I still can't do it. We know sometimes what's the best option to take, and we still can't do it. Ow.
誰も圭一君のことを叱らなかったと思う。だから私が 代わりに圭一君を叱るね。
Okay, I'm all yours.
入ってはいけないところに勝手に入るのはとても悪いこと。それはわかる？
あ
返事ははいだよ、圭一君。
あ、はい。
そしてもっと悪いのは自分が悪いことをしたのを認めないこと。悪いことをするのはとてもいけないことだけど、それを認めて謝らないことはもっともっと悪いことなんだよ。
はい、僕が悪かったです。
じゃあもう時間だから私は行くよ。
あ
回覧板お母様に渡しておいてね。あと回覧板は暗くなったら持っていかないようにって注意付きだから。
So I know that scene was supposed to be very sentimental and everything, but I will say this: please do not slap your friend or anyone for that matter. I have not successfully pulled that off yet, where I slap someone and be like, "Hey, I'm your best friend." I think that only works for anime. But you know what? If you have success in slapping someone in the face and saying "I love you" or something, please let me know.
なんだこれ。
Have I tried it before? Shh. 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 We don't talk about that. Only the best of besties slap each other to show that they love each other, okay? So I have to I know what's the right answer. I know I need to slap Scott and Tommy, for instance, but I don't have the courage to do so, okay? Even though I care so much about them, I have yet to slap them. What is wrong with me? God, what? I learned from all this anime, man.
醤油をもらいに行くなら園崎家か。レナ、お前ひょっとして知ってたんじゃ。
うん、知ってた。
But yeah, thank you for that person asking me how I found this chapter relevant. And maybe after explaining it, you can understand what I'm saying as well. At least I hope so. I'm still stuck in that position right now. Quite frankly. And so, like, I find it funny that I'm approaching Higurashi. Because originally, I didn't approach Higurashi with the intent to study its message, because I felt like I needed it right now during this situation that we're all in, right? I just wanted to kind of read Higurashi again because I really enjoyed the story, and because of how it's approaching me right now, it's making me see things from a different angle that I haven't really thought of. So it's, like I said, it's really funny how this story influenced me so much when I was growing up, and now that I'm older, it's coming all the way back around, and I'm like, okay. It's strangely fitting now that I think about it.
俺ミオンのところへ行く。謝ってくるよ。
Okay, so now after Reina approaches him, he now wants to fix what he left hanging in the first half. I want you to remember that for the upcoming scenes. And thank you, Hydru, for the Twitch Prime. Really appreciate it, man. Because that's going to be his motivation. And through that, you'll understand his logic and how he's trying to approach a conversation, right? Because like I said, on the conversation with the phone with ghost crazy-ass Shion, I couldn't understand his intention, right? But now you really get it.
もう全部終わりにしてもらう。ミオンはきっと簡単には許してくれないだろうけど、もうこれ以上誰も犠牲にならないように頼んでくる。
Oh, thank you. I'm glad to have you here, man.
私も行くよ。
レナ、学校はいいのかよ。
学校なんかよりもっと大切な用事だよ。
レナは来るな。この上レナまで巻き込まれたら俺は頭がどうにかなってしまうかもしれない。
ケイチ君までいなくなったら私も頭がどうにかなってしまうかもしれない。だからケイチ君だけを行かせない。
わかった。行こう。ありがとう、レナ。
There's a chapter that I really want to read. A part of me loves the chapter so much, I was considering skipping straight to it. I'm bringing it up now because I'm a huge fan of this character. So, although the reasoning won't become clear until way later, when I was younger, my favorite character for me was, I think it was Shion and then Rena, actually, about equal. And then as I got older, and I've watched the TV show like multiple times, other characters ended up becoming my favorite characters, which I cannot say.
いやー、おはようございます。前原さん、それから龍宮さんも朝から羨ましいですね。
警察の方ですよね。
ありゃ、龍宮さんには名乗ってませんでしたっけ？これは失礼しました。私、沖宮署の大石と申します。どうぞよろしく。
大石さんに喋るのか？
うん。ケイチ君の罪は私の平手だけであがなえるけど、みーちゃんの罪はこの人たちにあがなってもらわなくちゃいけない。大石さんにお話があります。
はてはて、どんなお話でしょうか？ここで立ち話します？それとも車の中でしますか？
車の中でします。
Man, Keiichi, if only you could have seen her in Chapter 2 when you were your Chapter 1 self. God, she really is reliable, right? Damn.
どうです。話したらなんだか胸がすっきりしたんじゃないですか？ はい、もしもし、大石です。
学校に先ほど欠席するとの連絡があったそうです。園崎家前は動きなし。標的はまだ艇内です。
はいはい、引き続き見張りお願いします。
了解しました。3号7号は先ほど応援が到着、起動しました。あと課長は大石さん探してるみたいっす。私のとこにも連絡がつき次第ってさっきから何回もうるさいっすけど、どうします？
ねはははは。答えに窮したら、実は居眠りしてて起こさないように言われてるとかごまかしといてください。
What?
いや、失礼。仕事の連絡でした。
今園崎家前は動きなしって言ってましたよね。
So you're camping out?
ありゃん、そんな風に聞こえちゃいました？
Okay.
そりゃ困ったな。秘密にしてくださいよ。課長から内定の許可はもらってないんですから。事情聴取も家宅捜査もとにかく何にも許可が下りないんですよ。園崎本家を守ろうという園崎家の防衛機能がガッキガキに作用しちゃってるらしくて、令状がなくちゃ私たち現行犯以外は何にも手出しできませんからね。
Right.
大石さんってひょっとして。
She picked it up just from that conversation? Really? Okay.
園崎家に踏み込めないものだから圭一君に踏み込ませようとしてたんじゃないですか？
レナ、それはどういう意味だ？
I won't say anything. Go ahead.
この人は私の想像通りならとても卑劣な人。
人聞きが悪いですね。でもお説は拝聴しますよ。
あなたは令状が取れないけれどみーちゃんが怪しいとずっと狙いをつけていた。圭一君を焚きつけて園崎家へ向かわせようと企んだ。そして圭一君に何かがあればそれを口実に踏み込むつもりだった。そうでしょう？その結果圭一君が襲われるかもしれないのに恥知らず。これが警察のやり方なの？
いやいや、こりゃとんだところに名探偵がいたもんです。いやはやいやはや、あなたうちの試験受ける気ありません？
I'm pretty sure she'd actually do pretty well.
刑事課配属の推薦状書いてあげてもいいですよ。
卑劣か。
私もいろんな悪口を言われたもんですが、若いお嬢さんの短い一言が一番答えますよ。
でも結果として今日までみーちゃんを逮捕しなかったことには感謝しておきますね。
そりゃどうも。さて、その園崎美音さんの親友であらせられるお二人はこれからどうするつもりです？私が証拠固めを終えて令状が請求できるまでのんびり待っててくれるわけですかな？
そんなの待ちません。私たちが行ってみーちゃんを自首させます。
Yeah, okay, because all the evidence really leads to one direction right now.
さてさて、そんなにうまくいくでしょうかね。下手すりゃあなたたちも無事では済まないかもしれませんよ。
そんなのは覚悟の上です。
もし私たちに何かあったならそれを口実に踏み込んでください。犯人を取り逃がさないようにぐるりと取り囲んでくださるのが一番の希望なんですが。
竜宮さんは交渉も上手です。参りましたよ。降参です。
どういうことだよ。
警察の人がみーちゃんの家を包囲しておいてくれるなら、これが万が一の時の保険になるの。万が一の時の。
ああ、大石より熊ちゃんへ。大石より熊ちゃんへ。お友達が2人、園崎家へ遊びに行きます。増援をかけられるよう準備だけよろしく願います。では参りましょうか。お茶菓子でも買っていきます？
Okay. Trying to think. So in chapter 1 and 2, we obviously have our critiques of the main character Keiichi already, right? And we're also seeing, although it's very, very slow, this kind of development of him from a honestly purely reactionary character, in my opinion, to a character that is starting to take very slow, very small steps towards being a strong pusher for the direction of the story. And I want you to think about that. And then I want you to apply it to other characters in the story as well. Because one thing that Ryukishi is really good at doing, in my opinion, is that he does kind of like group character studies, I guess. I'm trying to think if there's any better way to put it. But he has a bunch of characters in a scenario together, and through seeing how they act in a scenario, you start to really understand how these characters think and act, right? So at a certain point, you're not really going to be confused on why someone did something because you've seen it before.
お送りできるのはここまでです。情報では園崎本家は自宅周辺に監視カメラをかなり配置しているらしいんですよ。でもご安心を。何度か視覚をついて突入できる位置に若いのが何人か待機してます。指向性マイクで中を伺ってますから、お二人が大きな悲鳴を上げてくださればすぐにわかりますよ。
Now that I think about it, is this my first time having to keep track of this in my head? For such a large group of characters, I think so.
絶対に説得しますから、自首を認めてくださいね。
Well, no, it's a large group of characters with the intention to talk about it in conversation later. That's the first time, at least. Okay.
くれぐれも注意してください。今さら信じないでしょうが、できることならあなたたちに犠牲になってほしくないんですから。
本当に今さらだな。
行こう、ケイチ君。
レナはミオンの家には行ったことがあるんだよな。
うん、何度もあるよ。とても大きな家でね。お庭なんか山が丸ごと入るくらいあるんだよ。
Okay. Data, go ahead and explain where that thought process goes. And I think this is your first time reading Higurashi, right? If that's the case, then explain. If not, then be careful, obviously.
松茸が取れるとかなんとかで、いつもは柵がしてあるんだけどね。
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, what's the description? Thinking inwards. Okay. Okay, I get your logic. You're saying that, given where we are in the story, it feels that it is obvious that if Satoko died and our past experience with Mion, fuck, I don't know how to say this in an easier way. It makes sense. You're saying it makes sense for Mion to have been the culprit given the scene at the ladder, and that, oh, it turns out that Satoko and I think Rika went to this household. There we go.
この森、いや、山か。まるまる庭なのか。
Yo, Soy, what's up, man? How you doing?
庭というか領地だね。見ての通り私有地ではあるけど、手入れも何もしてないから。散策ができるような気持ちいい森というわけでもないし。
I really feel like this section here you should be reading into as a kind of reading of the Sonozakis, like the idea of the fences aiming inwards, right? But I'm gonna let it go through my head. There's a lot of things about it now. It really did feel like a neglected savage woodland. Yes, sort of. So remember, the fences point inwards. They're not pointing outwards. So the barbed wire, I'm imagined around the fence, right?
俺たちが来るの、ミオンはあれを通して見てるんだろうか。
So the way I imagined it was like pointed fences. If they're supposed to keep people from entering, they should be aiming outwards, right? I'm thinking like kind of crude fences right now. But if they're aimed inwards, that means it's to keep something in, or it's kind of like a... I can't think of a proper adjective for this. Kind of like self-mutilation, but not exactly. I'm not a fence scientist either. My imagination of how she described it felt like...
見てないと思うな。
There's kind of a little bit of self-pity happening in this description here. Like, she can't maintain this land, which is actually true, right? She can't actually maintain Hinamizawa in some sense, right? If she truly wanted to, say, control all these crimes, which she does, right? She's mentioned it before. Like, I don't want people to have, like, bad impressions of Hinamizawa. Then she's kind of failed at that. And she could be the perpetrator. Like, all our evidence seems to be leading that's the case, at least to some degree, right?
だってみーちゃんの家は基本的におばあちゃんとみーちゃん本人の2人しか住んでないんだもの。
But if she were truly level-headed and a competent leader and so on and so forth, she also wouldn't be backed up into this corner right now, where the police are going to surround her building, and we're going to find a trick way to get into her house, right? The Sonozaki house, at least. So that's how I read it, that description of this area here, right? It's not well kept. Even though it keeps people out, it also kind of keeps people in. That kind of defense mechanism that she has around her house. Fences, barbed wire, etc. Cameras everywhere, right? It's like you're always being watched.
カメラを見張ってる人がいないし。みーちゃんのお父さんがいろいろ大変な人みたいでね。だから一族がみんなで集まるときにはちゃんと機能しているらしいよ。
Yeah, so pretty much what I said matches what you're saying. To be fair, I actually read what you first said a little bit confused. But I think I still managed to add a little bit to it.
いるかな。
こんな時間に珍しいね。二人とも学校は？
Oh, Jesus. That also gives a very obvious reason for why she wants to be included so often. It's because this is how she lives. Like, everything aimed at her, and she's living inside a house. That's kind of suffocating. And this is probably the very first time that we have gone to visit her, as far as I'm aware. Rena, have you ever visited Mion ever in your life?
学校は休んだよ。
ケイちゃんはともかく、レナも？
Okay. Reminds me of when my friends went to visit my house, like when I first lived here, because this is kind of it's not that new, but I've lived here for 6 years now. I did not maintain that lawn at all.
二人とも不良なんだからな。
It's like no one lived in the house, man.
立ち話もなんでしょ。入りなよ。
行こう。
ケイちゃんはうちに来るの初めてだったっけ？
ああ、でけえ家じゃねえか。
今時合掌造りなんて流行らないよ。観光資源にはなるかもしれないけどね。私は早くごくごく平均的な鉄筋コンクリートに建て替えてほしいと思ってるよ。
Honestly, I wonder how strange it would feel to regularly come over to Mion's house. Would her folks be okay with it?
気にしないで。
I mean, I have like kind of I don't have that strong of an impression of her family. All I really know is Mion and Shion.
最近は物騒だからね。
And like, I don't even know what her grandmother looks like.
日中でもこれくらいはしておかないと。
ああ、そうだな。
では、ご案内申し上げます。
I mean, honestly, just going to Mion's house to do something like play video games makes me worried that like I might give a bad impression or something.
どうぞこちらへ。
ケイチくん、硬くなりすぎかな。私たちはみーちゃんに会いに来たんだよ。そんなに緊張することはないんだから。
Yeah, you know exactly how that feels, right? Like I don't want like my friends' parents to think I'm some type of I mean some degenerate. Like I'm a bad influence. I just want to be with my friend here and just hang out and enjoy our time. That's it. I mean, okay, well, I think some video games, yeah, they would, right? But just imagine, like me and were actually my friend. We somehow like I don't know had computers or some shit.
なんだこりゃ。ミオン、この新聞紙の上に置いてある漬物石はなんだ？
What's with this stone on top of the newspaper? I'm sorry, what?
邪魔だぞ。
There's a pile of newspapers on the floor of the entrance, and there was a large rock on top of them. Truthfully, I don't understand either.
レナは知ってるのか？これはなんだ？
Is this something that you do in the countryside?
何かのおまじないか？
ケイちゃんがよくわからないなら、それをどかしてそこに靴を脱いでもいいんだけど。
I feel like I'm gonna be like tricked, but okay, here.
ケイチくん、その石の真上にね、ツバメの巣があるの。
There's a nest of swallows right above that stone.
え？
Huh?
あ、本当だ。
人様の家なのに、ツバメが勝手に入ってきて巣を作ってるってわけ。
Wait, really?
代々語り継いでるのか、季節になると決まってここに巣を作るんだよ。迷惑してるんだけどね。
つまりね、そこはツバメの糞とかが落ちてきて危ないから靴を脱がないようにっていう目印なの。
Okay, I actually kind of understand that.
園崎家も大昔、養蚕とかやってたことがあるらしくてね。ご先祖様はツバメ退治に躍起になったそうだけどね。それを思うと、これはちょっと罰当たりなのかな。ま、上がって上がって。
Well, I mean, at least animals come by.
冗談でしょ。隙間風は入るし、冬場は寒いし。人の家を勝手に文化財にして改築を妨害しないでもらいたいね。
Okay.
一番の理想はケイちゃんの家でしょ。
You're not gonna understand that.
あれは羨ましいよな。冬場は暖かそうだし。あ、でも雪下ろしは大変かもね。
雪下ろしは大変って、そんなに雪が降るのか？緯度は関東より南なくらいだろ？ここいらって暖かい土地なんじゃないのか？
ケイチくん知らないの？
You know, honestly, I really appreciate this scene because of all the things that happened before it.
ひなみ沢は豪雪地帯なんだよ。
But there's also that kind of underlying message or problem as we're talking, so that's kind of...
大雪が降るとみんな埋まっちゃうの。玄関なんか埋まっちゃう時もあるんだよ。止めた車が完全に埋まっちゃって見つからないことだってあるんだから。
Yeah, so this scene is hitting very different than it was for me in the actual TV show. Like, legitimately, I'm feeling kind of sad right now.
地理の授業で習ったでしょ。日本海側は大陸からの寒風がそのまま流れてくるからね。山脈で遮られてぬくぬくしてるような軟弱な太平洋側とはわけが違うんだから。
俺、軟弱でもぬくぬくでもなんでもいい。
No, it's not just the music, although that does, you know, influence its tone. It's the fact that she's giving me evidence that all the suspicion that I had against her, it's still there, don't get me wrong, but I see what her life is like on the outside going in. I relate to her. I understand what it's like to feel suffocated by your own pressure and living in your own house like this. I actually relate to that bird thing that she just had there. Right? It feels kind of comforting to have animals around your house, even if you're in it alone. She actually is in the house alone. She finally gets us visiting her, and I know she's wanted that since the beginning of the chapter when she was struggling to try to fix a problem between me and her. Sorry, Keiichi and Mion, right? I understand all of that. And chapter 2 went really south really fast. And now somehow we've gotten to this position that we should have done in chapter 1. But it's past the point of any return, right? The thing that she wanted, and I'm hoping that Keiichi wanted, right? We want it to happen, but it's over, right? People are dead.
寒いのは嫌だ。
So yeah, it's far more than just the music, but the music definitely helps.
これは今年の冬はケイちゃんを寒さに慣らすための強化合宿が必要だね。
嫌だ嫌だ、全力で嫌だ。
Oh, okay, my bad. People are missing. They're not actually dead.
寒いのは嫌いだ。強化合宿も嫌いだ。両方合わさったらもっと嫌いだ。
Maybe all the people who are missing are actually just in her room when they're playing Monopoly right now.
でもね、冬は冬で楽しいことがいっぱいあるんだよ。冬の部活もね、きっと楽しいんだよ。
冬の部活か。実に嫌な響きのある部活だぞ。寒中水泳やら雪中行軍やら。
ここはいつから八甲田山になったんだ。
うん、確かに冬場の罰ゲームは辛いのが多いね。雪が降ってる校庭でリオのカーニバルをさせられたことある。雪合戦もやるし、かき氷の大食いとか雪中宝探しとか。
だからなんで外で遊ぶんだよ。
雪が降ってんだからぬくぬくとお部屋でテーブルゲームで遊べばいいじゃないかよ。
ケイチくん、そんなこと言ってると冬場はいっぱい負けちゃうかもね。ケイチくん、罰ゲームいっぱいでレナは負けない。
はうじゃねえ。
What the hell?
盛り上がってるな。壁が薄いんだからぶち抜かないようにしてよね。お茶受けはごませんでいい？羊羹とか気の利いたものがなくて申し訳ないね。
あ、いいよいいよ。別にお茶を飲みに来たわけじゃないし。
Okay, so he's the first one to break that that fantasy. Right. That's kind of the shame, right?
どうぞ。
Wow, this is really hitting hard. I'm actually really surprised right now.
召し上がれ。
I didn't get this feeling the first time I the first time I watched a TV show, and every single subsequent time, never during this specific section of its story.
毒なんか入ってないよ。そこまで信用ないかな。心外だね。おいおい、ケイちゃんもレナも。客はそっちなんだよ。用があって来たんじゃないの。そっちから切り出してくれなきゃ、おじさんも困っちゃうんだけどな。
I haven't heard you mention that in a long time.
ケイチくん。
いいんだ。俺は来るべくして来たんだ。俺から喋らせてくれ。
うん。 わかった。
ケイちゃんが私に何の話かな。お宅のお嬢さんを私にください。ダメだよ。うちのレナはケイちゃんとは釣り合わないね。味噌汁で顔を洗って出直しておいで。
ミオ、まず謝ることがある。
ケイちゃんが何を？
綿流しの晩、俺は神社の祭具殿に入ったんだ。
Okay, well that's not the thing that I think Mion was hoping for, but
入ってはいけない場所だったのは知ってた。でもほんのちょっとした探検のつもりで悪気はなかったんだよ。でもいけないことだったんだよな。謝る、この通り。
参ったな。いきなり直球勝負で来るとは思わなかったよ。参った参った。ケイちゃんにとっては面白半分の探検でも、それが笑い事では済まないと思ってる人たちも大勢いるってことをちょっとでも理解してくれたなら。それでいいよ。郷に入りては郷に従えって昔から言うもんね。
あれからもう何日も経ってる。今更だとは思うが謝る。
I mean, here. That's the strap.
悪かった。許してくれ。
いいよ。ケイちゃんが悪いことをしたと思ったならそれでいいんじゃない？
みーちゃん、ケイチくんはちゃんと真面目に謝ってるんだよ。みーちゃんも真剣に答えてあげるべきじゃないのかな。
私は真剣だよ。レナには私が不真面目そうに見える？
見えるよ。ケイチくん、もういいよ。全部話そう。みーちゃんもそれを望んでいるようだし。
that is how the police. No, not entirely. The police believe that something's in the warehouse, and that's why people are disappearing. But hold on to that thought, Killer Frogs, and consider it, right? Because definitely this story is trying to guide you down a certain kind of perspective. But I think you know that our perspective is still very limited.
ミオ、おとといリカちゃんとサトコを呼んだろ。
覚えはないけど、そう思うに足る根拠があるなら聞かせてもらえる？
夕方過ぎのお夕食前の時間、リカちゃんが来たはずだよ。お醤油の大瓶を持ってお裾分けしてもらいに。
どうしてそう思う？
そんなに難しい話じゃない。みーちゃんも見たでしょ？リカちゃんの部屋。冷ややっこがあるのにお醤油がなかった。そして流しの下にあるはずの醤油の大瓶も瓶ごとなかった。
何それ？それが私のとこへ来る理由になるわけ？
ミオ、いい加減にしろ。お前が自分で回覧板に書いたんじゃないか。醤油をお裾分けするって。
It's like we just cut off what just happened earlier. Wow. Okay, so this feels interesting.
そしてみーちゃんは
Because we're gauging Mion's
Rika-chan
reactions right now.
隠
And
してしまった。
slowly we're pushing ourselves back into reality and what we have to do, right? And also what is implied to have been done.
そして本当はそれで終わりのはずだったんだよね。みーちゃんにとっては。
そりゃあどういう意味かな？
リカちゃんがみーちゃんの家に行くことをさとこちゃんに言い残していたのは誤算だったんじゃないかな。
That's a really loud sound.
そしてさとこちゃんはみーちゃんの家に電話をした。
Like that actually creeped me out. Was that on purpose?
うちのリカがお邪魔してませんこと？うん。きっとこんな感じ。
似てる似てる。
みーちゃんはちょっとまずいと思ったんだよね。リカちゃんがここに来たことを知る人間がいたから。だからさとこちゃんも誘い出そうと思った。
誘い出す？へえ、どんな感じでかな？
きっとこんな感じだよ。さとこ、実は今日食事を作りすぎちゃったんだけど食べに来ない？リカちゃんは先に来てもう食べてるよ。こんな感じ。
へえ、電話の内容の記録テープがあるわけでもないのに、どうしてそこまで？
冷蔵庫にさとこちゃんの作った2人分のお夕食がまるまる手つかずでラップに包まれて入ってたから。
そんなことでどうやったら電話で喋った内容まで察しがついちゃうわけ？
長くなるから説明は省くけど、冷蔵庫の中身がみーちゃんの呼び出した話の内容まで如実に物語っちゃってるの。
これは
That's how I would laugh too if I were in her position. Like, what? I can't believe this.
とんだ名探偵が身近にいたもんだよ。
Yeah, exactly, right?
まさか冷蔵庫の中身だけで電話の内容まで見破るとは。参ったな。参った。
とんだ名探偵か。みーちゃんこそ大石さんがした会話の内容までよく察しがつくね。大石さんも私のこととんだ名探偵って言ったもの。
Oh shit. I just had the biggest click in my head. Oh, okay. Keep going.
ミオ、警察はもうとっくにお前を疑ってるんだ。この家も大石さんの部下が踏み込もうと今も様子を伺ってる。
I don't know how to set up that explanation yet, though, because it doesn't make sense until more things happen. So it has to be later again. Oh my god. I hope I really remembered that. Okay. No, I'm gonna forget that. I'm gonna write that down right now. Give me a second. Let me find a notepad. Okay, I'll make a Higurashi notepad here. Okay, Higurashi notes. What's the easiest way to explain this so I remember? Story of splits. Story of splits slash. How do I explain this? I'll do coin sides for now. Okay, story of splits slash coin sides. If one side is, I'm not gonna tell you what I'm writing. If one side is this, okay, and there is the thing you need is, fuck, I don't know how to say it. Hang on. If one side is this, okay, I have to translate that when I talk about this. Emotion. You need. Got it. Okay. Perfect.
村長さんもみーちゃんが。
Okay. So right now, I still can't say everything. Right? You already know that. So I have to write down notes for discussions later.
富武さんと高野さんもミオンなのか？
But as you're going through this story and it's leading you down a certain path with its with how information is revealed slowly but surely, right? There is still another half to this story that feels missing. And if you recognize that, give yourself a pat on the back. And then that's something that I'll bring up later. Damn. Etika has zero faith in me. That's actually kind of saddening. This is not your first time in our stream chat, right? I recognize your name. So you've been here before, but have you never been to any other of our visual novel streams? Really? To be fair, there's a lot of people kind of like talking on the side in the chat. And I haven't really mentioned anything about that. I'm kind of just going through these moments right now and trying to see what else I can learn from this story that I might have not understood clearly from the various watchings of like the TV show. But I mean, I don't feel like I'm in the position to make a defense for me, right? Because right now, given where we are in the context of this story, I cannot defend myself, right? I don't have enough leeway to say something, because if I were, it would destroy like...
初めてご挨拶申し上げます。園崎本家当主跡継ぎミオンでございます。
It would ruin a lot, right? So if your impression of me is that I have nothing to say, well, I'm sorry that I currently cannot do that. But this is something that I regularly do, analytical streams for visual novels. So
本日はようこそ園崎本家においでくださいました。当主お領に代わりまして皆様におかれましてはいろいろお尋ねになりたいことがおありの様子。私にお話しできることでしたら包み隠さずお話ししたいと存じます。
yeah, it's super difficult to be in this position, where people come with an expectation for you to commentate something, and then there's two separate audiences in this chat right now, people that know and people that don't, right?
本当に
So I have
何
to
を尋ねてもいいんだな。
I have to say something to still make it interesting for people who want to see what my thought process is, but I have to deny people who are watching this for the first time the information that might take away the fun of it, right? The fun of the mystery.
知る限りをお話しいたしましょう。皆様もそれを望んでここにいらしたのでしょうから。
どうしてこんなことを？
Hang on, take a stop here. Let's go back to this line. Okay, so this side of her that we haven't officially seen because she plays like friend mode, right? So now this is when responsibility is the most important thing, even over friendship. Okay. Sorry. It seems as though you have various things you would like to ask. If I can be of any assistance, I'd like to answer you without concealing anything. Okay, so then that pushes friendship into the distance, and now it's as if it's for professional. I mean, what am I supposed to say to that? I can straight up spoil everything right now if you really like, but then that takes away some of the fun for first-time readers. I can tell you absolutely everything that I'm thinking right now, but then what does that do for people who are trying to read alongside and have thoughts as well, right? I can't see how that's a logical option. Okay, but if you're wondering why I had to address what Etika said earlier, is because I feel that if comments like that slide in the chat, I leave the wrong impression for people. So I apologize for taking a small stop here, but it actually kind of hurts me that that there's all of this relevant information prior to this stream, but someone who has not seen that has the impression that maybe I'm just like missing all of this, or I'm not able to convey or think about these concepts, because I've said so much already. Maybe not in this stream, but prior at least. Okay, hang on. Okay, here we go. Alright, okay. No, it's not really that kind of problem. Don't worry about that, Spark, or anyone for that matter, actually.
その問いに対する答えは少し長いものになります。
So pretty much what I'm trying to do as a commentator for this game, if you really do not understand, what I'm trying to do is approach it as if I were reading it for the first time, giving clues, because I'm not truly reading it for the first time, giving suggestions or clues for readers who are reading it for the first time, how to approach it. From there, I'm trying to also hint to like the secondary audience who've already read this, right? The ideas that are coming from a quote first time viewing of Higurashi. And that also gives them information on how to read the future parts of the story. That's actually really awkward, but I think that's the way that's appropriate to go.
それでもよろしければ、どうかご清聴いただきたく存じます。
Okay, hang on. One more time. All right, so I've been out of it for a little while. I want to focus again. Let's keep moving.
ひなみざわ村がかつて鬼ヶ淵村と呼ばれていたことをご存知ですか？
Okay, so instead of hiding it, she brings it up now. Here's the history of our village. Okay. Okay, but you heard it from an outside source instead of specifically asking a person that you should have been close to about the village. Okay.
そうです。鬼ヶ淵村のご先祖様たちは鬼の血を引く誇り高き仙人たちでした。
And she believes this?
ふもとの村々の人たちは崇め、そして敬いました。ですが、そういう空気も徳川の世が終わるとともに廃れていきました。
Okay, hang on. Remember this scene with Mion talking to Keiichi and Rena about Higurashi's past? And then I'll write a mental note right here. What's that word? Okay, hang on.
「明治になり、古い歴史を持つ鬼ヶ淵村の名称は一方的にひなみざわ村に改められてしまいました。
To kind of modernize?
古い因習を一掃しようとする明治政府の思惑が強く働いたのだと聞かされています。
Okay, so this is tied to erasing history, which then also ties back to Keiichi's mentality prior to having lost like Rika and Satoko. And then also it calls into question why villagers aren't talking about like the past and so on and so forth. Yeah, and keep in mind, keep in mind that it's also this chapter that we learned about the seafaring theory. I can't remember exactly the term.
あっという間に鬼ヶ淵村は消えてしまったのです。
Drifting foreigners, thank you. I'll write that down too. Okay. At last, Japan, provoked by the great European powers colonizing countries in Asia one by one, began a policy to increase its wealth and military power so that it could stand as a global power. That's right. There we go. There's a lot more history in the visual novel than there ever was in the show.
この頃にはもう鬼ヶ淵村の不可侵性は失われていました。かつて仙人と崇められた村人たちは否認扱いを受け、神聖な鬼ヶ淵村はいつの間にか疫病患者の隔離集落の慣れの果てであるという根も葉もないレッテルを貼られ、苦難の時代を迎えることになったのでした。
Yeah, so demon blood comes from outsiders, right? That's kind of like the reading that you can do here. Either like outsider, like demons, right, from hell. They're not really from Earth, right? So that's the outsider aspect. Or outsiders as in like foreigners going into this area, and that happens, right? And that's what the kind of theory implies when attached to this. But if you think about the insider-outsider mentality that is in Hinamizawa, then you also apply it to like national borders. And now, children who had come into contact with children in Hinamizawa would cry and wail as their parents purified the spot they were touched by rubbing salt on it. So that means that Hinamizawa was known for being the outsiders within Japan, right? So then there's this kind of really weird self-perpetuating cycle that is occurring in Hinamizawa, where it's not just a curse every year, someone, you know, goes missing and someone is murdered or whatever. It's also this kind of mentality that they haven't actually fully learned from in some sense, right? They used to be a village of people that were shunned for having demon blood in them, right? And hang on. I'm trying to think of the obstacle to explain here. And yet, even though Hinamizawa was considered outsiders within Japan, they don't apply that lesson that they should have learned because they were ostracized to people coming into Hinamizawa, right? That would be the critique here. So, let's see. They ostracize people such as Tomitake and Takano, if you believe that this village is, you know, part of this organization that killed these people and sacrificed them and stuff like that. They've killed Satoko's parents, right, due to their involvement with the damn war. And well, Satoko's now dead, right? They even killed Rika, right? In the previous chapter, maybe they've killed Keiichi, right? This all kind of leads down to a lesson of like the dangers of having history erased. I mean, that's a very pessimistic way of looking at it, but it's also the better way to put it is that's the lesson that they learned, but it's not the one that benefits them, or should be learned rather.
裁判も起こしました。出身の問題は離婚する重要な理由にはなり得ないと訴えて。
Sorry, what? If anyone found out that you were from this village, you'll be turned down from any job you applied for. People would even go back on engagements and marriage proposals simply because you originated from this village. Okay.
でも敗訴しました。出身の虚偽は結婚の上での重大な詐称行為に当たるのだそうで。
ひどいね、そんなの。
Right, so with so much discrimination aimed towards Hinamizawa, the only way they found out was to, well, I think she's gonna follow up on that.
まあ、自業自得と言えないこともないのかもしれません。私たちのご先祖様は、自分たちに鬼の血が流れていることを誇りに思い、自慢し、麓の人々を蔑んで暮らしてきたのですからね。その神秘性で麓の村人たちを怖がらせ、畏怖と貢ぎ物の献上を要求してきたのですから。太平洋戦争中は国民一丸のスローガンが流れながらも、ひなみざわ村の人々はさまざまな差別を受け続けました。数え出したらキリがないくらい、夫や息子を戦場に送り出し、15の女たちも心がすさんでいたのでしょうね。
All of this does not exist in the TV show. Wow.
当時をよく覚えている祖母は、それは苦しい時代だったと回想しています。
Okay, so now you know exactly what war that is, if you weren't, paying attention.
多数の男手を失ったひなみざわにも、ようやく父や夫、息子たちが戻ってまいりました。もちろん帰らぬ者も多かった。それでも男手がなく村を維持することにすら限界をきたしていたひなみざわにとって、それはとても喜ばしいことでした。
I'm impressed I got this without even the visual novel telling me. I was able to break this down later on in the TV show. Okay. Do you remember me mentioning that, Manu, when we watched it last time?
廃村寸前だったひなみざわをもう一度立て直そう。そういう機運が高まり、村人たちは村を少しでも豊かにするために働き始めました。
Yeah, I'll be very vague about it. Remember how I was talking about a specific person, and I was asking, like, I think this person was alive during this time, and we were trying to figure out ages. Okay, hang on. Hinamizawa was on the verge of turning into a ghost town. Those in the village start to say that they should rebuild it once again. The exact question of Japan during MacArthur's occupation of Japan. How to rebuild, right? How to also rebuild the national identity of Japan. During that time, someone appeared who built up a fortune through a vast number of dealings in the black market. That was Mion's grandfather, the husband of the elderly current family leader, Sohei Sonozaki. So, obviously the grandma. Okay.
宗平は中国大陸に出兵し、ハルピンで食料倉庫の管理をしていたといい、撤退時に上官や仲間たちと共謀して軍の缶詰をごっそりと盗み出していたのでした。
Oh no, don't worry about it. All right. Okay, so. Got it.
それを瀬戸内海某所に隠し、闇市で高値で売りさばいて大きな富を得たのです。
Okay, and that's kind of messed up, because starvation was a problem, if I recall, during post-occupied Japan. But, right, I understand their mentality, because even during the war, they weren't considered part of the nation, right? They were discriminated like crazy, even before the war. So that was their answer to it. Because you did not include us, because we're not even human to you, we're gonna do this thing and not help the rest of Japan, right?
廃れたひなみ沢を復興させよ
And they use that money to make Hinamizawa what it is.
う。村人すべては家族であり、この富は共有の財産である。現当主である祖母はそう宣言しました。この大きな富は、その後のひなみ沢の復興の大きな力となったのです。もちろん、闇市で財を成したことを妬む人たちも大勢いましたが、もう村人は気にしなかった。
その活躍の中心人物がみーちゃんのおばあちゃんなんだね。すごいよね。大活躍。
ですが、昭和30年頃にまたしても逆風が吹き始めます。それが缶詰疑惑でした。
Oh boy. Okay.
祖父、園崎宗平の上官だったと名乗る男が告白したのです。
Someone naming himself as my grandfather.
彼の調達した缶詰は、実は食材を用いたものではなかったのだと。
Okay, so it brings back that kind of... Exactly. It brings back history that they wanted to shy away from or move past, right? Here's this stigma again. And from that perspective, I understand. Jesus. Okay, hang on. He found something even worse than a low score and depressing customs of the village. In the research they were carrying out, yeah, oh Jesus. Okay. So whenever the topic of I even struggle getting the words out of my mouth. Whenever this period of history comes up into discussion in visual novels and into our stream, I struggle to get the words out of my mouth on how uncomfortable I feel, even though I think it's very important to still study. So there's actually been plenty of times on stream where I've held back saying something that I legitimately think is being mentioned in a visual novel. But with Ryukishi, as I've seen in his most recent work, Seconia, and in Higurashi right now, he really wants to talk about this, right? He does not want to hide it. And I think I think I can agree with why he wants to talk about it. Because even now, I feel super uncomfortable talking about something that I think is really important. And the only way to become more comfortable at discussing this thing is to, well, discuss it, right? But it's such a heated topic. And I'm glad that it's one of my favorite writers throughout my childhood and even now who is willing to have this discussion, right? So if it were anyone else, I'm not sure if I would be able to even like voice what I'm saying right now. Oh man. And a part of me feels a little bit hurt that they didn't add this aspect into the Higurashi TV show that we know. I think at the time I wouldn't have been able to understand it, and that might have also come into censorship, right? Quite frankly, they might have thought that they couldn't sell this product with this kind of information in the visual novel. Like they might have made a specific decision to say like we can't talk about this, and that's kind of the shame, right? Exactly. I'm actually I can't even. I'm struggling to say it still. Right? I feel extremely uncomfortable right now, but I still think it's important to talk about, and it makes me wonder if the 2020 Higurashi version is willing to discuss this, when I think it's incredibly relevant. Yeah, a part of me says no, that they're not going to talk about it, and that hurts me a lot, actually.
宗平がいた部隊はより現実的で温情的な研究をしていました。それは戦地での困難な食料調達に関する具体的な手法の研究でした。
Okay, let's keep pushing forward. I feel like I can't keep stalling here. It's funny too. I actually laugh at myself thinking about it. Like, some people, they get nervous going through horror stories, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, shrug it off, right? But when I read about real world history, when I read about war, I stop and I can't get past it sometimes. Like, it fucking kills me. I used to not be that way too, actually. Like, when I was younger, cool, war story, awesome, right? Let me just go through this because it's so exciting, it's so much fun, right? But now I struggle to even like push past a passage about this. Yeah, that's also kind of why I reacted so strongly, if you recall, to like Muv-Love, right?
戦場で一番入手しやすいタンパク源は何だと思います？そう。彼らは通常は食しないものを食材として扱う方法を研究していたのです。彼らは時には敵の、時には望まぬ食物をハンデでも戦い抜くことが国に報いる究極の方針になる。
Oh my god.
そういう競技を大真面目に組み上げていったのです。 滑稽な話ですね。祖父を過去のことで蔑んでおきながら、自分たちはさらにその上を言っていたのですから。祖父はいつも思っていたそうです。たとえ世間の噂がどうあれ、彼らはそれよりもはるかに醜い鬼なんだと。だからいくら蔑まれたってちっとも答えないと。
Right.
お腹を空かせた前線の兵隊さんにはどの試作品もとても好評だったそうです。中でも醤油で煮たすき焼き風のものが一番好評だったそうで。
もうやめてよみーちゃん、気分が悪くなってきた。
じゃあそのミオンのじいさんが持ち帰ったという缶詰は？
真偽は分かりません。晩年まで僧兵は世間の風評を否定し続けました。ですがひなみ沢の急激な復興を妬む人々はその疑惑を真実のように面白おかしく書き立て、また子供たちが生やし立てられ石を投げつけられる時代に戻ってしまったのです。
Right. And so the proof of the cycle has happened enough times to feel like we're living it. Something obviously to think about. So now that you know the history of Hinamizawa, something actually, sure, frightening, but incredibly tragic, right? Now that you know that's the background story for how this village exists, it paints the story moving forward in a completely different light. That's what I mean when I kind of hint at like what we're missing, right? When we're going through this mystery, that kind of feeling that you may be getting now.
当主である祖母はある時村の子供たちにこう言いました。
I remember exactly this line. The children asked her.
2人に石を投げられたら4人で石を、8人に棒で覆われたら16人で追い返し、30人に中傷されたなら60人で怒鳴り返せと。1000人に襲われたならひなみ沢の全員で立ち向かいなさいと。それは決起を促す劇のようですらありました。祖母は園崎本家当主としてだけでなくひなみ沢の母太郎として立ち上がったのです。
Right. Wow. I didn't know that she taught little kids that. Okay.
ケイちゃんも町で不良に絡まれた時、たくさんの人たちに助けられたのを思い出しませんか？
So once again, I really want you to remember the scene where Mion is talking to Keiichi and Rena and unveiling this kind of history, because this line, I won't explain why it's important, but I'm going to quote it and I'll bring it up later. Hang on. Where is it? If you meddled with the people from Hinamizawa, you would be in trouble. They probably figured that if they could make others think that, they'd win. In fact, I'm going to write it down so I remember. So the reason why I'm talking about this right now is that it's about giving an impression, right? You're trying to act out a role that is not true, and by doing so, you are. This is actually tough. I'll write down a quote first. Because in this scene, the very beginning of the scene, not when they're talking about the history of this, but the very beginning of this scene, when they're joking and having fun and doing all of that, right? What are they doing? They're trying to put up this fictional wall that used to be true. They used to be friends, right? They used to actually laugh with each other and have fun, and they could joke around and all that shit, right? But that doesn't actually exist anymore, right? And yet they put it up anyway because there's that kind of desire of wanting to go back to the past where things were a little bit more innocent, right? And so that is being compared to this right now. And there's even another layer to this scene that is should not be explained right now. That will come back later when I mention it again. So hang on. I will just make one small comment. That is not where I'm going with that. But pretty much putting up false pretenses, hiding behind who you really are, but other people believe that the false pretense is true. And then there is that gap between reality and fiction. And to enter that gap and understand really what is true requires you to... I'll think about that a little bit more. But when do the false premises become true? Good question.
もっともその平和もとても薄い川の上に乗ったものです。この100年の歴史を見れば、今の平穏など揺れ返す天秤のたまたまの狭間としか言えないでしょう。
どうして？
Like that in itself is an entire conversation.
どうしてみんなで仲良く暮らし合えないんだよ。高野さんに聞いたお社様の昔話はどうなったんだよ。
おとぎ話です。人と鬼は実在しても、それを調停するお社様は実在しなかったということです。
Even those people and demons are real. Okay.
それでお社様のたたりを起こすことになったの。
ひなみ沢村を再び鬼ヶ淵村のように崇められるに足る神聖な存在に。それが我ら鬼ヶ淵村の末裔の悲願であり、園崎本家の鬼を継ぐ者の宿命なのです。
I need to read this again. Hang on. The innocent question, why can't everyone just live in peace? What happened to those old stories of Oyashiro-sama that are heard from Takano, when man and demon joined hands and lived together in harmony? Didn't Oyashiro remain in the world to watch over that? It's fake. even if those people and demons were real, the Oyashiro who mediate between them wasn't. And is that why the curse happens? Because this is fake? And she doesn't answer. So that Hinamizawa might once more be like its original name, so that we may again be a sacred existence worthy of worship. That was the earnest wish of our ancestors. Oof, Jesus. And the mission of those who inherit the demon in a Sonozaki main family, and a mission of those who inherit... Yeah, there we go.
鬼を継ぐ者
Is to promote that idea. Okay.
我が園崎本家は代々当主の名に鬼の一字を加える習慣があるのです。私の名前を手のひらにでも書いていただければ一目瞭然かと。
Jesus. That is so stifling. I feel like I'm dying when I read that. How do I even write this into a sentence? So, like, to carry on her ancestor's wish, she is pretty much embedded into her very existence. The very thing. Oh, Jesus, fucking hell. This makes me angry. Okay.
名前だけではありませんよ。この体にも鬼が刻まれているのです。
いいよみーちゃん。見せる必要なんて全然ない。
Okay, I guess I have to explain why that pisses me off so much. So the idea, I'm pretty sure you heard of this before, that that children are innocent, right? That they should not inherit the sins of their parents, because if you let them inherit that history of the things that they've done, then you're saying that a child is also guilty of the things that they're not involved in, that their parents have done, right? And that escalates. That becomes self-perpetuating. That things that I don't know, that your ancestors have fucking done in the past, nah, you're still to blame. Like, fuck you for that, right? That is essentially what they forced onto Mion, right? So it's not just like this heavy ass pressure to be the Sonozaki head. She has to carry on all this resentment from the past to the point where it's embedded into her very being, right? It's on her body, it's in her name. She lives that kind of history.
ありがとう。
And so in a way, there is no freedom. And you get that from the surrounding in her house, right? Everything, like, aimed at forcing her to stay in there. And so, with that kind of context, you now understand why she wants to be included with the group of friends so much, right? And it adds more than just, like, I really wish I could spend time with friends. It adds more like, this is my only time that I can get freedom from this freaking history. So yeah, think about that. History that won't leave the next generation alone. It only perpetuates forever and ever and ever. The past will always be the present and the future. We had this discussion the last stream.
この5年間の連続事件ね。私が直接関わったものもあるし、間接的に関わったものもある。いくつかは園崎家だけでなく、他の御三家の君吉家や古出家が関わっているものもあるけど。
Well,
その全ての中心に私がいたと思う。
I'm really not sure if you're asking that question in sincerity, but if you are, I think at this point in the story, it's just a circle. Oh.
私は自分のしたことには信念を持ってるし。
It's a Toho fucking reference.
罪の意
Jesus.
識などまるでない。
I thought legitimately you were talking about number symbology because we got through Zero Escape and we had to talk about that a lot. And number symbology is a thing.
あるとすれば、私の後継ぎも決まらないうちに舞台を退かねばならないこと。
Okay, so you weren't there for that? Damn, man. I was about to be super impressed. Like, oh, does this guy actually know what like 9 can actually mean? And like he's encasing it in the circle, which also means like repetition and a start from a renewal, a restart. Like, oh shit, man, this guy, welcome to Higurashi stream. And now you're telling me it's just a Toho reference? For shame.
私を捕まえて、それで法治国家の体裁が整うなら、それも時代の流れかなって。
Yeah, I know what that reference means because did you know? Let's take a small break because I'm suffocating from the story right now. Not because it's bad, but because it's heavy. Did you know to pass my test when I was in driving school, you have like a certain amount of mistakes. I forgot what the upper limit was, and please don't laugh at me, but I made 9 mistakes. I made 9 mistakes on my driver's test, and when they took a picture of me, when my friend was there to take a picture of me, I did the number 9 because I was a Toho nerd back in the day.
この100年で一番平和なひなみ沢を見ながら引退できるのは、ひょっとすると歴代の園崎家の当主で一番の幸せなのかもしれないし。
Yeah, I know.
でもみーちゃんはリカちゃんとさとこちゃんを殺したんだよね。
Yeah, specifically she killed children.
他の人のことは殺してもいいとも言わないよ。
Yeah, and that's God, man. That kills me so hard. The idea of this self-perpetuating violent cycle where you're essentially killing off your own future, right? Because that's what children are supposed to be, a new start.
でもとにかくみーちゃんは
But this village that has known discrimination for so long, pretty much they express it now.
リカちゃんとさとこちゃんを殺した。
How else am I supposed to say that? That's what they do. It sucks, but that's their history now. And how do you get out of that is the question, I imagine.
私が園崎家の役目を負うように、リカちゃんだって古出家の役目を負っていた。
Yeah, they've done it, they've lived it, and they've done it, and they've lived it, and it keeps going. Right?
その役目が西宮殿を守ることだった。去年あたりからリカちゃんが言ってたのは知ってたんだよ。西宮殿の勘抜きが重くてつらい。もっと簡単な鍵に付け替えたいって。先代の神主さんでも重いと嘆いてた代物だからね。リカちゃんに辛いのは重々承知だった。
僕がちゃんと番をしますですから、もっと軽い鍵に変えてほしいなのです。
There's nobody bad enough to break through it and go inside, he said. So now they're paralleling this scene here with kind of trying to change that. Okay. Change a little bit of history, I guess. Trying to figure out. No, let's keep going. I understand what he's trying to do. Ryukishi, I mean. Okay.
おじいちゃん、本当に大丈夫なんですか？バッチャもできることなら鍵は前のままの方が良かったと言ってます。
大丈夫だよ。心配性だな。何かあったらおじいちゃんがちゃんと責任を取ってあげるから。
本当ですね。君吉家の当主として責任を取られるという意味ですね。おじいちゃんもこの中に収められているものがどれだけ神聖なものかよくご存知のはず。
大丈夫なのですよ。このひなみ沢に鍵を開けて勝手に入ってしまう悪い猫さんはいませんなのです。にゃーにゃー。
西宮殿に賊が忍び込んだという話は綿流しの祭りの最中にもう私の耳に入っていました。賊は4人。その日のうちに手が下されることになりました。同時に西宮殿に賊を許した古出家のリカちゃんと君吉家のおじいちゃんも責任を問わなければならなくなってしまった。
俺が殺したも当然なんだ。
圭一君。
俺がバカだった。
ケイちゃんは何も悪くないよ。私は園崎家の当主として手を下さなければならなかったけど、園崎家の歴史なんか今にして思えば大したものじゃない。そんなもの全部投げ出しても私は仲間を救うべきだったのかもしれない。私がそんなものに屈したからあの二人を殺してしまった。
Oh my god.
それは他でもない。私、園崎美音が殺したということ。
Okay, so now she's taking on that again.
私には踏みとどまる100億の瞬間があった。でも踏みとどまらなかった。安易に自らの役割に屈し、仲間のために戦うことを放棄してしまった。
I had 100 chances to stop this cycle from continuing, but I chose not to stop. I chose to continue the history of my family, and that is why I killed two of my best friends. It is I who did it. It is my responsibility.
だからこれは私の罪。
It is not yours.
私が殺した園崎美音がこの手で殺してしまった。それは何ら変わらない。何も
Right. So Damn, that's a critique if I ever heard one.
で
Okay.
もみーちゃんは自分の意志で一人だけ救ったんだね。
Okay, and so we kind of get the obvious parallel between Mion and Keiichi here, right? I could have made the choice to save them, but I was too scared to. I could have made the choice to save them, but I was too scared to. For her, I could have had resisted my family's history and all that resentment built around this village for people, but I chose not to. For Keiichi, I could have not given in to a random curiosity, right? But I let it get to the best of me. At least that's how he thinks of it. But I chose not to. I took the easier choice and followed the flow.
え？圭一君だけを殺さなかった。こんなにも強い力を持つみーちゃんなら造作もなかったろうに。でも殺さなかったんだよね。
さて、どうして殺さなかったのかね。
Okay, and the hope is that she made that choice.
鬼の私には見当もつかないわ。
That there's still a little bit of human inside of her.
ミオンの方に殺したくない都合でもあったんじゃないの？
And now she's talking about herself in the third person. Oh boy.
そりゃどういう意味だよ。
Okay, here we go. That's not necessarily abnormal in Japanese conversation, but that can also mean something else, obviously.
大石は外で待ってんの？
うん。
Right.
逃げ場は？
ない。ぐるっと囲んでるって言ってた。無線でたくさんの車が来てるみたいだったよ。みーちゃん家の広い敷地を全部囲んでると思う。自首しよう。私たちも一緒に行くよ。親友を一人きりになんか絶対にしない。
泣くことレナには勝てないわ。自分で自分の罪どのくらいになるかよくわかってる。たとえ自首が認められても多分もうここに帰ってくることもないと思う。だから最後にわがままを聞いてほしいな。
何かな。
30分でいいからケイちゃんと二人きりにしてほしい。
圭一くん、どうかな。圭一くんが嫌なら無理にとは言えない。
Man, oh Jesus. Okay, anyway, I will say one thing. I'm super happy that we took a break from the last stream to cover this last section of chapter 2 because I have more energy now to talk about all these really important topics in this story. It's also hitting kind of hard, a lot actually, because I didn't get this kind of thought process that they had in the original TV show, but they slowed it down so much and added real world history to it. I get it. That obviously adds a tragedy and makes it very easy to understand this kind of looping cycle that they can't seem to escape, right? Hey, sounds kind of familiar. And this is the one time, and I think you already know what decision is going to be made here. So let's just get out of it, right? This is the one time that I think, even though it sounds so stupid to make that decision, I would have been like, yeah, I would probably have done the same thing, right?
そうだね。
So let's see how this goes.
嫌ならそれでもいいよ。私は鬼だもの。
So that 30 minutes that she wants.
ケイちゃんはよそから引っ越してきた正真正銘の人間。相入れることなんてお社様が実在して仲介してくれない限り絶対にない。
Wow, they straight up just tell you what weighs her down, the reason why she continued the killings, right? I wonder if that's so confusing to people. Like, to me, I get it. Now, would I have done it? I don't know. I hope not. I'm not in her position. But you know that in this village, they teach kids from the beginning to have that kind of mentality, right? Here's the thing. If you start thinking who's to blame, I think that's the wrong mentality for this story. They did it first, they're to blame. Right? And so we're justified in fighting even harder back. And then it escalates and escalates and it continues far past when it should, right? Goes from the past into the present into the future, and it continues forever. Until like everyone's implicated. Actually, I'm not sure if you're saying that jokingly, but that is an answer. And that's not even an abnormal answer. It really is an answer. Instead of blaming humans, you scapegoat it. And you shove the weight of all that horrible history onto something else. So I want you to think about that. Maybe not you specifically, because I'm not sure if you're being serious or not. But the rest of the chat, I want you to think about that. You can scapegoat it. The history that we've had, the bad blood between you and me, sorry, that's under the rug now. Let's actually say that someone else will take on all that shit, right? They're the ones that we should fight against. They're the ones to blame. Let's bury this past. Or you shove it onto some deity. Like, no, seriously, right? That entire festival that they're doing, where they are cutting this futon and tossing it into the water, right? That legitimately is a way of purifying yourself, taking off the sins that you shouldered for so long and throwing it onto religion, onto a god, right?
いいぜ。
ありがとう。私からもありがとうを言うよ。
And then, now with the context of actual history in this story, there is a very different kind of weight to it now. Right? If you're choosing humans did this, and she straight up gives a lot of evidence that humans did this, right? It now comes with like this really desperate, pessimistic view of the world where you can't escape historical stigma, right? The violence will live on because it's between humans, right? It will live on forever. It almost feels that the curse is a blessing, in a sense. That if you believe in the curse, at least it's not humans' fault, right? At least maybe it can end.
ケイチ君。
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for adding that. right? Because that's the kind of conversation that I want to have in these streams.
いいよレナ
So I 100% give you the benefit of doubt. I'm hella stuttering here. I give you the benefit of the doubt. 100% Etika. Thank you for adding that. I mean that sincerely.
ここで待っててくれればケイちゃんとは庭をぐるりと回りたいだけだから退屈だったら私の部屋へ行けばいい
Hey Williams, what's up, man?
漫画とか好きに読んでていいよあ、なんだったらお気に入りの単行本丸ごと持ってってもいい
So I'm not sure how you feel, new viewers of this story. Do you? It's not just a question of where the evidence leads you towards. It's also kind of what you want to believe in the story, right?
嫌だよみーちゃんの本はみーちゃんのものだもの勝手にレナの家に持って帰れない
あんたはこんな時に限っていい子なんだからじゃあ行こうケイちゃん
Jesus. What a layered ass scene. There's so much shit going on in it.
みーちゃんもよろしくね
あ
みーちゃんもう二度と帰ってこれないって確信してるみーちゃんが短気を起こさないように見張ってね
あそんなこと絶対にさせないから
God, man. I really did not expect to have this conversation tonight.
じゃあ言ってあげて
The funny thing too was I wanted to stream Higurashi tonight, even though I didn't even need to, right? I had no mention whatsoever I was doing it tonight. Because I straight up just wanted to have company. That's the reason why I streamed Higurashi tonight. And then I got hit in the face and in like my feelings, like Jesus, really?
どうしてみーちゃんは
Yeah, like
鬼なんか継がされちゃったんだろうね
I know exactly how she feels.
それは仕方のないことだったんだろうねでもあんまりにもかわいそうだよね
It's almost 1 in the morning, dude. I'm not tired at all, actually. I'm awake, but I thought we were gonna go into chapter 3. I thought we were going to chapter 3 tonight, man. I'm not sure. Fucking, this is hitting me. Let me take a quick break, okay, guys? I'm gonna like splash water over my face and actually get some water too. I'll be back in, let's say, roughly 3 minutes, hopefully. Oh, God. All right, hang on. It won't take too much longer, I think. Should I make some tea? It'll wake me up. Well, I'm not that tired, but I'll get tea anyway, okay? So 3 minutes-ish. Okay, I'm back. That was I'm still I'm actually still a little bit shaky. It's funny. It's to me at least, like how much that rattled me. It has nothing to do with like I don't know, a jump scare or something, or I mean, to me that was horror, actually, right? It unsettled me to the point where I thought about it a lot, and to kind of like get it out of my system, I had to rationalize it. I had to understand it, because if I couldn't, it would haunt me, right? I wouldn't be able to sleep at night, and God, man. I don't know how many people's reactions are the same as mine when it comes to this topic. But I don't know. Like, it hurts me a lot to learn about, like, real atrocities and the actual possibilities that humans can do, right? It's a very heavy subject matter for me, and kind of getting past it always takes a little bit out of me. That's all I'm saying, really. But it's heavy for me. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed it as well. I'm actually really impressed by how well written that scene was, because, like I said, it was very layered. You had so much to think about when going through that scene, and then now we're here, right? And I know what I want to hope for, and I'm not sure what our new viewers for this story want to hope for, but I mean, all we can really do is just continue, right?
腕組んでもいいかな。
Okay, well, hang on. I know what some people are hoping for. Oh my god! Anyway.
別に構わないぞ。
私に腕を組まれたらなんだか緊張しちゃわない？例えば急に関節技を決められちゃうんじゃないかななんて思ったりとか。
Oh, Victor, hey, what's up?
姉妹揃って同じことを言うんだな。思わないよ。
Oh, thank you, Mixer, for saying that.
全然。
I'm assuming English is not your primary language, so I really appreciate you still trying to share your views on that scene. I love it when people are willing to engage in discussion, especially in visual novel scenes and streams, obviously. I'm looping back like a robot. I need to just get back into focus again. Hands are freezing. Everything's cold in this house. Hold my arms, Mion. Okay, well, I'm glad that you're here. You missed a really, really important scene, Victor. So if you do find time, I think you should go back maybe about 30 minutes and see the discussion. But other than that, if you don't feel like that's the case, stick around. I love to have you here. No, it's okay. Keep in mind, as a first-time viewer, you're trying to break down a lot of information because it's your first time seeing it, right? And this is a mystery/horror, so there's obviously a mystery element that you're trying to solve plot-wise, and you're even just trying to understand how scene A led to scene B and to C, and etc. Right? It's a lot of like extra weight that you have to carry. You're doing a lot of work, so don't worry about it. This is kind of why the recommendation for